Greetings, this is Doc Ock coming at you live and direct from Black Facts Headquarters Central here in Kent, Ohio on another evening. Good evening to all. Hope y'all are out there having a ball while we're experiencing fall right over here in Kent, Ohio. Well, first things first, make sure if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the Tubular Black Facts channel. Once you've done that, feel free to make a donation. You don't need to give up your location, but it would be good to give a donation. Make a donation to the cause so that we will know what cause we're working for. We are working in your interest. So if any of these videos you've seen here piques your interest, inspires you in any kind of way, or is uplifting at all, please go ahead and leave a donation before you go. Now, before we read the poem for tonight, I was upstairs watching a Netflix production. It's called Colin in Black and White, and it's all about Colin Kaepernick's early life, from mainly in his teenage years. And so I find it to be a very interesting production, very, very good, very thoughtful, very Kaepernicky, although I didn't know Kaepernick as well as I do now after watching this movie. And it's a series, actually. It's a short series, six parts to this series. But apparently Colin grew up with some white parents. He was adopted, and the most interesting thing to me is his mother, or his stepmother. And she has an idea in her head that some people, other than herself and the character in this movie, also have in their head, that being black is a phase that some people go through, and then you come back into your right mind and become whatever it is that you become when you ain't black no more. Because you're not white, but you're not black. And sometimes I feel like people look at me that way, as if what I do here is like a phase I'm going through, or maybe it was a phase that they went through, and now they're looking at the world in a different way. Well, being black, let me just say, for me, being black is not a phase. It's not an avocation. It's not a vocation. It's not a profession. It just is what it is, to use a term that's been overused quite a bit lately. It is what it is. So just like you wouldn't say a porcupine is going through a phase, and in a little while he'll stop. He won't have those quills anymore. He'll have feathers. He'll sprout feathers and look like a bird. Not gonna happen. Porcupines don't go through phases. Skunks don't go through phases. I don't know animals most animals don't go through phases like that, where they're one thing and then become something that looks like their antithesis or their exact opposite. So all that to say that we do what we do, and we make no apologies for it. And tonight we're going to read another poem from the book Voice of Freedom about Fannie Lou Hamer. Now let me see if I can pick up where we left off. Last night I remember reading about Snick. Oh, dang. Okay, I didn't know we were coming up on this one. Let me take out my glasses so I can read a little easier. I don't want to have to get eye strain just because I'm reading here. This one is called The Beating. In June 1963, I went to citizenship school in South Carolina. On the way back, the bus had stopped in, of all places, Columbus, Mississippi. Me and the other trainees was hungry and decided to try to eat in the terminal. We ordered breakfast at the whites only lunch counter, knowing segregation been outlawed. After a long wait, we was finally served. But the bus driver called the police. And down the road in Winona, we got kicked off the bus and thrown in jail. When I asked what was the charges, the police told me to shut up. They put us in separate cells and made other prisoners beat us. Black and blue. They just kept beating me. The jailers telling me, "You nigger bitch, we're gonna make you wish you were dead." Through the pain, I quoted scripture. One prisoner beat me till we were both exhausted. Then the other one took over. I waited 3 days for a doctor to show up. Snick sent someone to bail us out, but the police locked him up and beat him too. It took Andrew Young from the Southern Christian Leadership Conference to get us released. The same day, NAACP leader Medgar Evers was slain in his driveway for teaching black people their rights. The others said it was my singing what brought them through. That November, John F. Kennedy was killed, and Lyndon B. Johnson was sworn in as president. He promised Dr. King to finish what Kennedy couldn't. In July 1964, Johnson signed the Civil Rights Bill into law. The blood of freedom fighters was in his pen. Although I can't say necessarily whether that was doing us a favor or not. That is as of yet to be determined. We'll come back to that in a future presentation. But meanwhile, we're going to go on reading from this book, Oh Freedom. Oh Freedom. Before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave. Oh freedom, oh freedom. Okay. Nope, I know I read that one. Okay. Yeah, I think we read this one too. So let me start here. Okay, I'm going to start with this one here. Taneza Holmes with Dorothy Payton. Taneza Holmes with Dorothy Payton. Taneza. My name is Taneza, and I'm here with my grandma talking about marches and protests. Grandma, did you participate in any marches and protests? Dorothy, yes, I did. Yes, I did, child. I surely did. Taneza, which one? The March on Washington? Nah, I wasn't there for that one. But I did march with Martin Luther King in the early 60s. I was marching in the front, right behind Dr. King, block after block. We were joined by more marches. The crowd became excited, and they were walking faster, and they surged forward, pushing the people in my row forward, causing me to step continuously on Dr. King's heels. I kept saying, "Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir," all the way to the park where we were congregating. Taneza, did he get mad at you? Dorothy, no. He was so nice and understanding. I'll never forget his smile. Dr. King meant a lot to me. I looked up to him and respected him so much and would have followed him to the ends of the earth. Taneza, well, he might not have liked that very much, Grandma, with you stepping on his heels. Dorothy, I guess you're right. Taneza, thank you, Grandma. Dorothy, you're very welcome. Okay, and I'll read one more story, and then maybe we'll do a piece from Ms. Lou. Yeah, because this is another short one. This one is LaToya Thomas with Lawrence Still. LaToya. This is LaToya Thomas interviewing Lawrence Still. All right. Did you go to the March on Washington in 1963? Lawrence, I did. LaToya, How did you like it? Lawrence, it was a wonderful surprise. Latoya, what do you mean? Well, when the march was being planned, we didn't know what was going to happen. You have to think back and remember all of this was new. There were all kinds of projections about how many people would come, but there was always this concern, this fear that it might not come off at all. Latoya, do you mean like a party when you buy chips and soda and sit around waiting for everyone to come, and then you start thinking maybe no one will? Lawrence, well, yes, kind of like that. Latoya, but the people came. Yes, they did. They were pouring over the bridges into Washington. They came in buses and trains. We saw cars and license plates from all parts of the country. And this was even before we had entered the city. There were people lining the streets, in every doorway, on every sidewalk, singing and waving. There were people from all over the world marching for justice. Latoya, did you hear Dr. King give his I Have a Dream speech? Lawrence, yes. And I'll tell you something not many people know. Much of what Dr. King said in his I Have a Dream speech was not in his written text. Latoya, you mean he made it up right there in front of all those people? Lawrence, he was, you might say, speaking from the heart. He knew how to give his lesson, to always preach to the people. He was eloquent. Latoya, do you think Dr. King felt he had arrived at his dream? Lawrence, I don't think he expected it to be accomplished in his lifetime, but I think he did believe that he was well on his way. Latoya, what do you think of his dream? Do you think it can happen? Lawrence, his dream essentially was Christ's dream and Mahatma Gandhi's dream, and I think it will be fulfilled, not only for African Americans, but for all people. Well, I think so too. Thank you. And that's the last story in here we're going to read for tonight. If we have enough time, yeah, we got enough time. I'll read a poem from over here, or read a selection from this book of poems by Miss Lou, the poet laureate of Jamaica, West Indies. Yeah, man. See what she has in here today. Oh, here we go. Oh, this is a good one. I heard this one before, I think. Just a park them bargain baggage. Colonization in reverse. What a joyful news, me matty. Oh, feel like my heart gon' burst. Jamaica people colonizing England in reverse. By the 100, by the 1,000, from country and from town, by the shipload, by the plane load, Jamaica is England bound. Them a pour out of Jamaica, everybody future plan is forget a big time job and settle in the motherland. What a island, what a people, man and woman, old and young, just pack them bag and baggage and turn history upside down. Some people don't like travel, but for sure them loyalty, them all open up cheap fare to England, agency. And week by week, them shipping off them countrymen like fire for immigrate and populate the seat of the empire. Uno see how life is funny. Uno see the turnabout. Jamaica live for box bread out of English people mouth. For when them catch a England and start play them different role, some will settle down to work and some will settle for the dole. Jane say the dole is not too bad because they paying she £2 a week for seek a job that suit her dignity. Me say Jane would never find work at the rate how she dare look. For all the day she stay upon Aunt Fine couch and read a love story book. What a devilment to England, them face war and brave the worst. But I wondering how them gwon stand colonizing in reverse. Now, I can't talk like Miss Lou, but I do the best I can for you. So if I do not sound like Miss Lou, don't be hating on me. I don't need nobody hating on me. I'm just doing the best I can, so I don't want to hear no debating while you stand over there starting to hating. Meanwhile, you know what you need to do. All you little children know what time it is. Don't make me have to give you a quiz. It's time for you to lay your little head down on your little pillow, on your little bed, and close those your eyes while you wait on that sun to rise. And when you feel those sunbeams beaming down on your eyes, you'll know that it's time for you to rise and shine, oh chillin' of mine. In the meantime, all you adults out there, it's time for you to pony up, ante up. Money on the wood makes the betting go good. So do what you knew you should. And you definitely know, I definitely know you could. Go ahead and make a donation right here in this location. You can do it on Facebook. There's a button below. Don't you know? Look and see. Find it for yourself. Make that donation today. We need it from you, not somebody else some other way. Because we have a saying from that we say right here in America. He who pays the piper calls the tune. You pay us, we do what we do just for you. In the meanwhile, now that you have a clue as to what you need to do and how to do it very well, we're going to leave you for a spell, but we'll be back tomorrow at noon with another show. So look for us then, and in the meantime, feel good about how you're getting ready to spend your dough. Peace out without a doubt, with plenty of justice, because anything less disgusts us. As I say good night to Michael Phillips and Sledge Bay. Have a good day.